Hello and welcome to Digital Freethought Radio Hour on WOZO Radio 103.9 LP FM right here in Knoxville, Tennessee. Today is Sunday, May 24th, 2020. I'm Larry Rhodes, or Doubter 5, and as usual, we have the co-host, Wombat, on the phone with us. Hello, Wombat.
You are the light of the world. Na, 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 na. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Do, 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 do. Share your light above all men. They might see your grace in them. Share your glory up in heaven.
That
a
checks
city
out.
on a hill
That's
cannot
Wombat.
be hidden.
Okay, welcome. With us today, we have Joey Woods, Boudreaux, and Dread Pirate Higgs. Hello, all. Digital Freethought Radio Hour is a talk radio show about atheism, free thought, rational thought, humanism, and the sciences. And conversely, we also talk about religion, religious faiths, gods, holy books, and superstition. And if you get the feeling that you're the only non-believer in Knoxville, well, you're just not. There are several atheist and free-thinking rationalist groups that exist right here in Knoxville, and we'll be telling you how you can connect with them right after the mid-show break. Also, did you know that there was a streaming atheist call-in video show broadcasting right here in Knoxville? Did you know that, Wombat?
Yes, and if you have a Netflix account, you can watch all of the great movies and animations by Mayo Hayazaki. You can check them out. They're all available right now. And my favorite, personally, is The Cat Returns and My Neighbor Totoro. It's a great story of two Japanese coming-of-age stories.
Not the right show.
What are we talking about?
No, it's the Atheist Call-In Show. It's now on YouTube. It used to be on a local access TV for like 10 years, but now it's on YouTube, and we'll tell you more about it after the mid-show break, so stick around. If you'd like to interact with us during the show, go to Facebook and search for our Digital Freethought Radio Hour page and use the messaging function to send us questions or comments. Remember, if you're listening to this on the radio, it's Sunday mornings, 11 o'clock Eastern time to 12 noon. So, use the page, call us, send us questions, and be part of the movement.
Shoot, yeah.
So, Joey, what's our topic today?
Well, I think I've got one that can get us into some good discussion. Question: can religion be a healthy outlet as long as its members appreciate the pursuit of science and seek an honest balance? Is there such a thing as an honest balance?
Oh, I love this question. Isn't that great? So I'll take it off the top. I think so, yes. And in fact, just because you're religious doesn't there's a difference between being a theist and religion and being religious, because you can definitely be spiritual or religious without having to have the baggage of also believing that a supernatural deity made the universe, right? And if religion to you is just the nature of how you do things, or think about how you perform certain rites or acts, or how you connect beyond just, your A to B, the C part of the day. It's like, hey, emotionally, this is a great way to stabilize myself so I can express greater empathy with other people in my community. I'm totally fine with that. And if you support that with additional love for science, yeah, I love that a lot. That sounds like a really, really good thing. Hopefully I'm interpreting that right. Larry, what do you think? Uh-oh. Can we hear him?
I got muted.
There you go.
Sorry.
There you go.
There are several religions out there right now that are philosophical religions. They don't have deities like Buddhism, Taoism, Shintoism. We talk about the Eastern religions. And a matter of fact, the Dalai Lama, the Tibetan Buddhism, has been quoted within the last couple of years as saying, whenever Buddhism disagrees with the findings of science, then Buddhism will have to change. So I think that that's an existing standard out there in several of the Eastern religions. However, they do have elements of superstition that we may or may not have to address later on as the show goes on. But I think a person can be both scientific and religious as long as the religion is philosophical.
Yeah.
I was more referring to what if they actually did have supernatural beliefs, but they put them into the realm of possibilities in their mind, but they don't assert them as truth. But they believe that they exist, knowing that there's a chance that they won't. But they believe that they exist because they see that to their perspective, it's a therapeutic outlet for them. But at the same time, they are 100% behind the pursuit of science. Could that still be a healthy outlet?
So I'm still a little confused. So I'm going to just make a dichotomy here. Do they believe it's literally true, or do they not believe it's literally true? The supernatural aspect of
they have a healthy.
Just make sure we're staying on the dichotomy. Is it they believe that it's true literally, or do they not believe that it's true literally?
Well, okay. I guess I worded that wrong. They believe that it's possible that it's true, so they carry out the rituals and they go.
Joey, I'm trying. The dichotomy is they believe it's literally true, or they do not believe that it's literally true, which could include any other gray room that you want. But do they believe it's literally true or not? That's like the main thing that I want to know.
Well,
even
I
if
guess
it's a possibility.
That's the question. Is it psychologically healthy to believe that it's literally true? Is it a psychological threat? If they also believe that science is important.
All right. So we took a step back and now we're asking a different question. Is it harmful to believe something's literally true that you may not be able to justify with reasonable amounts of evidence, right? I think we know that answer, obviously.
The same alley. I'm just trying to clarify, I guess. I'm not doing a really good job of it.
No, you're doing great. Gary, what do you think? You actually have a religion, and I like it a lot. What? I don't like beer. That's my problem. So that's what's keeping me from putting on the pasta hat. I like orange juice a lot. Actually,
whatever you want to call grog is grog, right?
Okay. So yeah. Mead.
The pirate drink. It can be composed of any kind of liquid.
Nice. Oh, I love that.
As long as it pleases your palate and you're a pirate. That's it.
I dig it. But what do you think? Have you gotten any benefits from your outlook spiritually?
Well, not spiritually. No, I don't really hold to that. I'm in this for the community. That's what I get out of it. I know there's lots of pastafarians out there that are, spiritual. Some are actually even religious or questioning. So I think we're just simply a melting pot. But, I don't even engage in Pascal's wager at all. I'm just pretty much a hard atheist. So,
yeah.
I don't. Go ahead.
Let's cut to the chase on this. Do you know of any Pastafarian who holds that the claims of Pastafarianism are actually literally true?
That's a good question.
Well, I'm not sure.
Volcano,
no, probably not.
That's
I
what
probably
I'm saying.
not.
Yeah, I think they'd say it's as likely at most as
that's exactly where someone might come as close to.
Just for the audience, I wanted
possible.
to ask that just for the audience who may be confused about Pastafarianism
and again, I'm not speaking for all Pastafarians, because maybe there is a Pastafarian out there who really actually literally believes in a beer volcano and a stripper factory. Yeah.
And to go to what Joey's saying, that would make me sad, because then it's just you took it too far, right?
Right.
But I'm saying, is it, in a sense, the question is it a threat to society if a group of people try to balance a dichotomy that's not necessarily, they're not going to the legislation to put in laws. They believe that it's true, but they also entertain the possibility of being not true, knowing that science hasn't proved it yet. And they also are passionate about science. Is that healthy? And is it good for society? Is it neutral for society? Is it bad for society? What?
So instead of an open, let's direct it at Boudreaux. Boudreaux, what do you think about that question?
Yeah, this is really interesting, and I've thought about this before too. I've heard others talk about this psychology that's going on, where on Sunday they'll go to church and they'll do all the things and believe all the things, and then Monday morning they'll go into a research lab and do the most advanced science out there, and they have this compartmentalization in their brain that just lets them do that. They're okay with it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And I work with a lot of great, brilliant people that are very religious, and they have a way of just kind of splitting those two things. Is it healthy though? I don't know. I could see it I could see it working in some bias, into research and other things. There was a guy, literally Dr. Guy, I think they try to call him the science guy, who came to Lexington, Kentucky, as a response to Bill Nye the Science Guy, who came and talked. Yeah. So Bill Nye came to UK.
Dr. Guy.
Dr. Guy, you know who I'm talking about. And he's like the scientist for the Catholic Church. He runs their observatory or something to that effect.
That's a very boring job.
He did a talk, and it was I actually went. Chad and I went to it. I think George came with, and I mean, we went almost ironically to it. We wanted to hear what this guy. It was filled with young Catholic students. It was a Catholic Newman. It was the Newman Center, and he was up there talking, and he was talking literally about this: that hey, you can believe in a God and still love science. And what it sounded to me like it was a pitch to young people that hey, you don't have to ignore science and be religious. The two are compatible. And
it would have to be Catholicism to do that, because they do value education, and I can see that they would mostly support evolution and the other findings of science. The Protestant religions, a lot of them don't, but Catholicism, I can see where they would do that.
Can I make a quote? Not a quote, but like an example that wasn't Catholicism today is not Catholicism 100 years ago. It's not Catholicism 100 years before that.
Right.
And if there's any long-term, well-documented trend of anyone trying to just keep with the times to stay relevant in order to maintain that tithe money, it's Catholics. Like, you can look at them from ancient Plantagenet dynasty all the way up to today and be like, wow, these guys were really, really they were like following the Twitter trends and being like, whatever we got to do to just keep the people in the seats.
Keep butts in the pew.
Let's do it. Exactly.
Well, they also did engage in some pretty violent things as well.
Yeah.
They do have some skeletons in their closet. But
no, it's all skeletons, dude. The closet is made out of skeletons. The door is a bunch of bones. Like, we already know.
Closet.
Right. It's a bony closet. And I feel like this is just an appeal to the intelligent design model rather than an actual compatibilism of science versus religion, because they're actually not compatible. When you start to critically assess how things came to be and you don't have a good, reasonable answer for it, the scientific approach is to admit that you don't know something, not claim that you know something, and put the burden of proof on other people to show that you're wrong so that you can change your mind.
Right.
Science is, I'll believe it when I have good reason to believe it.
And it's this idea too, the God of the gaps.
There you go.
Where people infill the idea that there's a supernatural world out there, only because science hasn't yet filled it out. So that it's the God of the gaps, essentially.
Gary, did you say oat? Are you Canadian? Because that's weird.
I am.
That came out a little weird.
I am definitely Canadian.
You never mention that.
Oot and
you
a
never
boot.
mention it. Yeah, you never say it.
Sounds Scottish.
Right.
I am half Canadian, by the way, guys.
What? I didn't know. I suspected it. I knew it. I knew it all the time.
My mom's from the Sioux. You know where that is? Yeah.
Sault Ste. Marie, yeah.
Sault Ste. Marie, yeah.
Yeah, you bet.
Nice. Yeah. Cool. So welcome to the All American Podcast. This is Digital Freethought Radio.
The melting pot.
You didn't just have one question for us. You had another one. What's that one all about? Joey, what's the second question?
I have another question. Yes.
Your microphone's a little low, Ty.
Oh, my bad.
Your microphone's a little low.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I heard the question, but I didn't hear my name at the end of the question, so that's why I was kind of like a deer in the headlights. The second question on the list, if that's what you're referring to.
Absolutely.
If we were to evolve out of religion, would art fade with it?
Oh.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
Why?
So I started this show with an amazing rendition of Third Day's Light on a Hill that no one appreciated, apparently, because everyone was trying to talk over it and try to move it forward. But if you listen to that song, that is a jam that I do not believe could come from the mind of a secular-minded human being. That song is just too good of a jam. It's so good.
I feel like divinely inspired.
It's sort of like this. So, like, the idea of what a church is when you go to a church, the pastor's like, please stand up. Please sit down. Please turn to this page. Like there's a
choreographed.
Is there clear choreography behind it all? And it's the exact sort of thing where it's like I could go to the grocery store right now and pay $1 for like a bunch of Reese's Pieces cups, or I can go to a vending machine and pay $2 for one Reese's Pieces cup. But I still go to the vending machine and do that one Reese's Pieces cup because I like putting the money in the machine. I like pushing the number combination. I like watching that little spiral.
You like working with the machine.
Yeah, I like seeing the thing fall to the ground. My mouth is like salivating as I'm like reaching in the machine and I undo the wrapper. Like there's a process before it that makes the food better, and it's scientifically demonstrated that when people have a turkey tastes the same as it always does, but it tastes better on Thanksgiving because you think in your head everyone's eating turkey on Thanksgiving, and you have to wait for the special day to eat it on this particular time. There's a process behind it, and I feel like for Christians, when they make Christian music, they are like, what are the true tide? What are the surefire chord progression that we found fine-tuned to an exact T that will make this song be the get up and jam and give me money?
The emotional
this hat around,
appeal
yeah.
of the chord progression, yeah.
And I'm just saying, it hits you, and you're like, "Oh, it's so good. Where's my $1?" To give it up. I don't think.
Yeah, but getting back to the question, will religion go? If religion goes away, will art go away? No.
I think some art would.
Well, that would be
some art would,
but that would be similar to saying that all art is currently done by religious
people. I was
people.
more referring to the part of the brain religion resides in.
Joey's always thinking
still
about
either.
So it's always another level.
I mean, the very fact that he mentioned Christian music and religious music. I mean, if you take religious music and you exclude all of that from the body of music that we have today, everything else is secular. Right.
That's true. It's very
then
true.
we have secular music, and it will continue, and art and all other forms of art will continue.
So, Dr. Five, I'm also going to throw this out. There's a band called A Quiet Company that we love on the show. They're in our rotation. They were a former Christian band. The lead singer became an atheist. The rest of the band also became atheists, and they still make the same kind of music, but it's much more secular, and they have a much more secular point. If you like Christian music, they're a great band to follow.
But they have the same brains that they had when they were religious. I'm just kind of entertaining the possibility of looking forward a few thousand years. Like, what if we get to a point where we're so logical? We get to a point where we're so scientifically driven that art becomes little interest to us. Is that feasible?
We still have mathematics, and mathematics can be beautiful.
Fractals. Think about
theorem.
Fractals.
Fractals, the curves,
Art Deco,
the architecture.
it's all mathematical angles, really beautifully aligned with each other. Yeah.
Matter of fact, think of music. What's that one that's so mathematical?
Math rock.
No.
It's called. That's literally what it's called, Larry. That's literally what it's called. It's called math rock. That's
Dream
what
Theater.
It's called. I'm not making that up.
They're just reciting pi to the nth degree or something.
Pachelbel's canon.
There is actually one of my favorite bands, Tool, has a song where the lyrics, the syllables of the lyrics are sung using the Fibonacci series.
What?
It's a mathematical progression.
Cool. Right.
Yeah, if you want to talk about truly mathematically perfect songs, All Star by Smash Mouth is you guys laugh, is philosophically, mathematically, and compositionally perfect. And you couldn't make that if you didn't love science. There's no way you could have a metal singer, a hot organ, and a rock ensemble groove together so compatibly if you don't have some appreciation of both science and art. And you don't need religion to do that.
Yeah, I mentioned it a little while ago. Pachelbel's canon. How many people are familiar with that?
Who?
Everybody on the planet. Yes.
Yeah, it's mathematically perfect. I mean, you have one every eighth bar or every eighth count, and then you've got others that are coming in right on the half and the quarter, and it's very.
Did you say Bach?
Mathematically, Pachelbel, Pachabel, I think.
Oh, Pachelbel. Okay.
Yeah.
I just also had a thought to correct myself.
Go for it.
You need to access that right part of your brain in order to invent something. So in order to invent something new or to build something, or even when somebody's, trying to improve a spaceship or a car, that is still accessing some of that right part of the brain. So yeah, maybe so.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd actually say
I just thought it was something cool to think about. Like,
Boozer, I'm going to throw this question to you real quick. I actually think the inverse is true, that you can't have art without math. Would you agree with that?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know.
I think, yeah. I mean, because I think colors, I mean, it really, our brains are doing math when we start looking at different, right? Yeah. So, I mean,
Well, when I think of some pieces of art that the artist literally just throws paint on a canvas and then this is art, abstract without any mathematical.
but physics, right? The way the paint drips down, that's all physics.
And we can mathematically prove that it's not random based on
Right.
even if he thinks it's random. Like we know for a fact. And if someone actually does something that's truly random, we can mathematically hold this as like.
Well,
this
okay,
is the
what about Yoko Ono? I did some where she like put a canvas on the ground and let people walk, pedestrians walk all over it, and call that art.
There's too much hate on the show. We're a music show.
See, I consider art something a little
bridges.
more impressive. So you got to put something. You got to dedicate a little more time than that. You got to get.
Now we get into defining art, though.
You got to give me something.
Doubter 5, you're a salty dog. You're on the loose. We can't reel you in. We're gonna have to go to a break. We got to calm you down a little bit. Why
Is it that late in the show already? Is it really?
Go for it. Yep.
Okay, hold on. This is Digital Freethought Radio Hour on WOZO Radio 103.9 LPFM right here in Knoxville, Tennessee. We're going to take a short break, station identification. We'll come right back here and get going again. See you in a minute.
You're listening to 103.9 FM, WOZO Radio. Simply the best.
Welcome back. I'm Doubter 5. And this is the Doubter. Let me start again. Welcome back. I'm Doubter 5. This is the Digital Freethought Radio Hour and WOZO Radio 103.9 LPFM right here in Knoxville, Tennessee. Today is Sunday, May 24th, 2020. And welcome to the second half of the show. Let's talk about the Freethought groups that you can join here in Knoxville. First, there's the Atheist Society of Knoxville. Founded in 2002, we're in our 18th year now. ASK has over 1,000 members, and you can find us online at knoxvilleatheist.org, or you can go to meetup.com and search for Knoxville Atheists. It's that simple. By the way, if you don't live in Knoxville, you can still go to Meetup and search for an atheist group in your town. Don't find one? Start one. That's right.
Do it.
Another large free-thinking group here in Knoxville are the Rationalists of East Tennessee. They've been around for longer than the ASK. They've been here for 20-something years now.
You got the better name, though.
We do. Go to rationalist.org and check on upcoming events. Of course, the events are kind of squashed right now because of COVID-19.
Sure.
But we'll get back in the groove here before too long.
No doubt.
Earlier in the show, we said we talked about the Knoxville Atheist Call-In TV show. It's called Freethinkers United Coalition of Knoxville online, and you can find the streaming version by going to YouTube and search for 3 words, Freethinkers United Coalition of Knoxville, 4 words. Remember, you can find archive of some of their shows on YouTube where a fan has been posting them. And if you're interested in getting involved in the TV or this radio show, just come to an Ask Meeting or RET and talk to us about it. You can be on our next co-host or guest. And with us today on the show, we have the Wombat, Joy Woods, Chad's not here with us today, Boudreaux, and Dread Pirate Higgs. Wombat, where do we want to pick up from here?
Hey, I think it'd be nice if we did a little bit of response to a lot of the feedback that we've been getting. We've steadily been getting more and more views on these YouTube posts for our radio show. We're getting in the upwards 200s now. I'm actually really impressed with that. That's really cool. And the feedback's been nothing but positive. So this segment is called, Where is the Love? Where is the love, the love, the love?
Where is the love?
Nice. I love the energy. So XX Mac, who commented on our last video, says, hey, I enjoyed the conversation and the format. I was never one to discuss religion or the lack of, so to avoid conflict, I usually just listen. You guys made it interesting, and I like Larry.
Oh, really?
Yeah, very good job. We
cool.
love you too, Larry. Let's see. We got a bunch of them, actually. So one of them is from our subgroup on Street Epistemology, r/Street Epistemology. If you post a comment in the podcast post, we'll be happy to answer them. This is from, oh my gosh, the Art Theaters. He says, hey, Ty, I was wondering if you've ever done SE with someone way out there with a conspiracy. have you ever talked to conspiracy theorists? And I have. In fact, on CPAC, I met a guy who believed that he talked to a person who disappeared into a white light. And I'd recommend that you check that channel out. It was a really interesting conversation. We got him from, I know for a fact that I saw someone disappear into a white light, to I realize I'm only believing that to maintain my sobriety, like for the most part. And so I didn't want to push any further than that, but like that recognition on his own part, I think is like very, very good. Again, yeah, SE is not about causing harm. It's more just letting people think for themselves. And if they get that conclusion their own right, that's totally fine. And I won't push past there. There's a guy on Patreon. If you post on Patreon, I'll be happy to talk to you too. Jared asks, is there a video or conversation that details your thoughts on Sam Harris?
Maybe
And I said it.
Topic.
Yeah, he said it.
All
And
about Sam Harris.
Yeah, I said he just makes me sleepy. I was once listening to an audiobook and I woke up. That's the literal story.
Better in video. Better in video.
He is.
That's bad.
The last one is from Andrew White. Andrew has a bit of a longer text. He says, hey, I'm happy to provide support to you. I actually came across your ASL translation videos, but from there I saw your main project. Being able to carry on a respectful but honest conversation with people who might see the world differently than you is such an important skill, and one that unfortunately feels like it's disappearing, particularly these days as people are able to retreat into their own bubbles or like-minded opinions. I think your focus on engaging with people is laudable, and it's a pleasure to provide a small measure of support for it. Thank you for all your work. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you, guys.
Cool.
Again, if you ever want to leave some feedback, you can post a comment. You can post in the Reddit group. You can come to a meetup group in Knoxville if you're in the
send
area.
an email to askanatheist@knoxvilleatheist.org.
Perfect. All right, let's get back to it.
I went to a meetup group, met you in Faithless Forest, and here I am.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, you're in the area, actually. You should be able to.
Very cool.
All right. So, Joey, we got one more question on the docket, right?
Yes, I do. And it's a juicy one.
Nice.
All righty. If our society became like unto a scientific utopia like Star Trek, when we found civilizations and on other planets and maybe even in other galaxies, if we get to that technology, we found civilizations and life on other planets, would they have religion? And next, kind of right up that same alley, is a religious brain necessary for the survival of an intelligent species?
Oh, man, there's some juicy stuff in there, man.
Mm.
I would say this. My initial idea of where that question was going when I first read it was, would you rather have people as they are today interact with the first intelligent life of another species? Or would you want like an evolved, purely scientific version of humanity to make that first encounter? And I would say the benefits of the scientific pursuit is that we've seen from our own history, whenever you've had a group of technologically advanced but religious humans encounter another group of humans that weren't as technologically advanced, you would automatically have them be enslaved, killed off, to have their resources taken, or indoctrinated and pulled into their belief system to further promote, we must be the ones ordained by our holier God. Or you'll have religious wars where they just are actually on equal terms technologically and they fight for each other's gods against each other. Mm-hmm. But a scientific approach might actually be the first one where it's like, hey, we know what we know and we know what we don't know. We're here to try to help you, get over your technological problems. And maybe we can see each other on like even terms without the supernatural component.
I just imagine making first contact with somebody on a planet and then they try to convert us to their religion.
Yeah, that's going to be awkward.
Like, oh, we got a lot to tell you about all that. Let's sit down and have a discussion.
Actually, so I'm going to throw this out. Has anyone seen the movie Contact?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, I hate that movie so much because it's literally just a girl or a lady being like, hey, I want to build a teleporter, and all the politicians being like, but what about God? And it's like, why do you care?
Well, it was written by Carl Sagan, so he's going to bring that up.
We can make a teleporter. Stop talking about the Bible. We don't care anymore. Like we're now on the next chapter.
Don't you think
to be fair, it wasn't her bringing it up. It was her preacher friend.
What was it like? Owen Wilson? I forgot who was in that movie.
No, Matthew
it was
McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey.
They all look the same to me. I'm sorry, that's racist.
Who I
Yeah,
think he's an atheist.
They all look the same to me.
it's okay. It's like, oh, you
Hilarious.
switched out one handsome blonde dude with another handsome blonde dude. I was like, oh, well, he deserves the millions, of course, sure. Okay, whatever.
So,
Well, you know,
the second question though, like, do you think that, because we all know, we've talked about this before, where the religion part, religion comes out of the part of the brain that attributes agents. You know, we talk about how Larry mentioned when one podcast about the tiger that may or may not be behind the bush. So when I was kind of going down that alley, what if we actually, if we get to a scientific utopia, it's kind of like Star Trek, what if like every single civilization we came up on was religious, and you know, and we realized that part of the brain, like that was actually necessary
more universal
for survival, but it was also like a downside to.
Right. Well, the only real example we have of that are, you know, on Earth, and all the other civilizations we have ever come across have had some type of religion.
Yeah.
And I don't see any reason to think that it would stop there. I mean, if we evolved, you know, trying to explain things supernaturally because we don't have natural explanations, then I can't see why some other civilization wouldn't also do that. But back to the first part of the question, do you think that extraterrestrials would be religious when we contact them or they contact us?
Yeah.
I think it depends on the point of their evolution, their societal evolution. If you look at us, the older we were, the more religious we were. Currently, we're kind of 50-50. We're going more and more toward the secular. And in the future, we can envision, hopefully, a world without too much religion.
Or religion doesn't look at all like what it looks like right now.
So if we hear other civilizations, and they're pretty much in the 1950s of their civilization, we may hear a lot of religion because they've discovered radio, but they haven't advanced so far that they could get away from religion.
Right.
But if they actually came here, then they would have really high technology. They would be far advanced from us. And I would think that religion would be an artifact of the past.
We would hope so.
That's just me.
It seems to me that we're
Thing to think about. That's just what I was thinking about this morning. But go ahead.
Lucha, what do you?
Yeah. So I'm kind of just thinking out loud here that, you know, so much of our evolution has just been complete chance and luck. I mean, I just thinking about the topography of the Earth and the temperature and, you know, all of these things, this so-called belief in belief gene that I think of the same thing with the tiger, where, you know, just the way we came up in evolution, that was a piece of it that made us survive. I don't think it's fair to say that is necessarily going to happen on a completely different planet with very different gravity. And I mean, just even, yeah, there are a lot of factors. And I suspect it's maybe likely that other species would have something similar, but it's also possible that, I mean, what if consciousness, you know, kicks in later in their evolution to where they pick up consciousness and they already have a little bit of technology. So, I mean, you know, beavers build dams, and there are, you know, there are
like
things.
Bees. They're like drones until like they can make stuff, but they're not really critically thinking about things yet.
A cool book. It'd be a cool science fiction book to write. Like the first kid that woke up.
Right. Whoa, I'm a bee. I'm in a hive mind. I need to get out of here.
And if they woke up in that, and maybe let's say they already have, like, you know, decent technology, irrigation and things like that, they may be woke, you know, later and maybe less likely to believe in the supernatural. I don't know.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
I know you want to say something. What's up?
Me?
Yeah.
So this is something I've kicked around a bit. Dolphins,
yes,
are arguably one of the most intelligent non-human species out there, and it's becoming increasingly likely that we may actually be able to converse with them at some point in some common language. What I would like to know is, do dolphins have a god? Do dolphins believe in the supernatural? You know what I mean?
It's a fair question. Yeah.
I think it is a fair question because, I mean, when we were talking about aliens could very likely be dolphins. You know what I mean? Like they could come in spaceships and look like dolphins.
in like little aqua tanks, basically, and
big
be like, hey,
aqua tanks.
like,
Yeah,
dang
exactly.
it, I knew it. It was them. Dang it. Are we eating dolphins? No, good. Thank goodness.
But I think we don't have to go very far to actually appreciate that there are alien intelligences already present and existent right now.
Dred, you make the absolute
developing
perfect
our
point.
communication, right?
Yeah, we have so many examples of species here that are clearly communicating with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should work on trying to enhance our ability to communicate with them before we just send random radio waves out into space, because that's so human-minded. When we could be like, hey, you know, bees clearly have a language, and scientists are like have broken it down to like the syntax and the grammar statement to have a bee come in and be like, turn 40 degrees here, fly towards the sun, you'll find a lot more flowers here than what this other bee is saying. And other bees are like, yeah, we're going to listen to Mary. And they all fly out with Mary.
Well,
and all the work of Noam Chomsky, for instance, you know,
Yeah.
you remember Nim Chimpsky, the chimp there that had this incredible vocabulary.
Yeah.
Sign language.
Don't forget Coco.
Coco, yeah.
Coco, yeah.
Yeah, he learned sign language.
And was able to construct sentences that are novel.
Mm-hmm. And one of the first things he asked for was a kitten.
She. Yeah.
She refused to have a child with another ape because she said it felt like he was her brother. And the theory is that she had spent so much time with humans that she believed that she might have very well believed she was a human, and she didn't want to make with other apes because she thought that was bestiality.
Wow.
I don't know if that goes that pretty far. That goes pretty far.
Well,
I would say this though.
Why didn't anyone ask if Coco believes in God?
Well, they'd
have to define that.
You'd have to explain what God was.
You'd have to define that concept. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't come naturally,
so that's how you sign God. By the way.
I heard a cute thing the other day. It says when you get a kitten or a puppy at home and you're raising them, do they really think that they're going to grow up to be a human?
Right.
You know, because the only example of the adults that they have are you at this point.
Well, there is some theory that if a cat grows up with dogs or if a dog grows up with cats, they can have certain behaviors. But I don't know. I haven't done any much research in that area.
Yeah.
So speaking of cats,
not humans, I don't
do
know.
you think they're disappointed when they do grow up? they're not
speaking
human?
of cats, I have a cat. It's a beautiful black cat. His name is Vinny.
Yeah.
So I've come from a deaf family. My mom, hard of hearing family. It's all good. But my cat has been taught some signs. So he currently knows 17 different signs. He can come on command. He can fetch a command, jump, walk on a leash, roll over, anything. You just do the sign, and he's like, I know what that means. We're good. And he doesn't do it for treats. He only does it because it interests him. So like he'll do the first 5, and then he's just like, okay, I'm bored now. I'm going to be back to a cat. It's the best thing ever. And I think, and I feel like I've seen police dogs, for example, respond to commands from their officer owners in German because they don't want to have a person screaming out contrary commands at the same time too. So at our campus, Georgia Tech, you will find police cops with dogs, and they'll be like, "Ice, what?" Whatever they say.
I always thought it was because they were German shepherds.
So funny. But the dog will stop. He'll crawl. He'll look to the left. He'll look to the right. He'll get an alert. All based on vocal commands. So there's clearly a capacity for speech and body language to be interpreted by animals we don't really consider as like the hierarchy top tier smartest animals. One last point. There's a chimpanzee on YouTube that will be shown a screen that has numbers descending from 100 to 1, and he will press them in order. And then what they do is they randomize the order of the numbers, and he will go out of his way to do the random order and still go from 100 to 0 each time to get food. Not only that, but they'll flash the numbers and quickly just make them disappear, so that they're only like 100 numbers are only on screen for like maybe a second, and the chimpanzee still knows where all of them were, even though it was a random distribution. Wow. There's so much of a capacity for us to just say, hey, maybe humans are smart because we have a world that's built around us, but animals can be too if we just give them the opportunity to and figure out some way to work with them. Mm-hmm. We have so many great opportunities here, I'm just saying.
Do you think they're conscious?
I have no idea. I don't even know if you're conscious.
Well, I think dogs and cats are conscious. Yeah.
I
mean, the one thing you can be sure of is your own consciousness.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I have a pretty good feeling that humans around me are conscious, but I have no reason to think animals are.
I think
you don't believe
consciousness is
that
kind of
Awareness-
overrated.
Isn't awareness a function of consciousness?
I would think so.
So,
I think consciousness is just like
isn't a
emergent
nervous
property.
system kind of like a basic level of consciousness?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean,
It depends on how you
I think
define
it works more on a spectrum than it does on a
Yeah,
the
that's
what-
light
no.
bulb's on or the light
You
bulb
guys are
off,
talking
right?
to Eric Green right now. He's going to be loosey-goosey, and he's just trying to get the free will. Trust me. Like, I know where this is going. Like, 4 steps
being
later.
sneaky.
He's
No,
being
no,
sneaky.
I think it really is a light on or off type of thing. I mean, I'm sure there
Yeah.
is some kind of spectrum, but you either are conscious or you're not. There's not. I
Right.
don't think there's any gradient to it.
Right.
I don't think we know
maybe
enough
it's
to be
defining what
confident that
conscious
it's-
actually means.
There you go.
Yeah.
Couldn't hear you, Joey. What'd you say?
I just said I don't think we know enough about consciousness to be confident either way.
That's
Well,
the
probably
thing
not.
I've heard today.
Daniel Dennett's got a couple of really good books. I'm actually reading one now. It's called Intuition Pumps and Other Tools for Thinking.
Yeah.
And he's all about, the theory of
Consciousness.
consciousness and all that
Mhm.
kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
that's really, really good reading.
Yeah. I think like the basis is I'll never know what it's like to be a bat. So I can't tell
Right.
you if that bat is
Right.
conscious or not. Right.
Yeah.
So, but beyond that, if we just say, hey, consciousness as a term is overrated, what's the next best thing? Can I respond to stimuli? Am I able to communicate functionally? Can I do some critical thought? We can test for that. And that's a lot more demonstrable. And whether they're conscious or not, we can work with them if they are able to think critically, respond to stimuli.
And computers
and
can
have
do that too, right?
Yes.
And we can have so many great things with computers, man. Look around you. Look what we're doing right now. This is awesome. So yeah, we can totally make things work if they follow like demonstrable
Yeah.
thresholds.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but
I'm fine with that.
Sub note back to Coco. I think we should learn something from that situation, that we do need to find a balance to where how much we work with an animal and how much they also spend time with their own kind. Like we shouldn't have them too much with humans, and they need
is there like an ethical thing?
have a social life, and I think that was one of the issues that they had with Coco.
Yeah, keeping a gorilla happy. Yeah, but as a means to an end, I don't think the life that she had was particularly harmful compared to what she would have in the wild, and it would be really. And I think we learned a lot about gorilla conservation through that process to show hey, these are an endangered species. They can talk with us. Oh, okay, they're not as endangered anymore. Fantastic. Like humans have a really bad tendency to destroy things they don't appreciate. So if we can make them appreciate gorillas, and that's all for the better.
We need to also appreciate that humans are apes.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Preach, Larry, preach.
Hey, can we appreciate that I just got a text that says, "Hey man, give me a call when you get home from church."
Okay.
And they sent it jokingly, of course.
Okay, so I'm going to take a brief little tangent right now. Yesterday, we had a face-to-face conversation about COVID, and it was inspired typically through like a weekly chat that we have every Saturday. We either play games or we just sit down and just hash out some stuff. And it's cool because there's a lot of people in the room, and it's interesting where everyone's coming from, because the middle ground is always we care about each other, we care about humanity, and we're trying to like figure out how we can crystallize like a common ground between all of us here together. And it's something that is possible to do, but it's almost near impossible doing over text when you're just texting to like a group of people in a room, or even one-on-one, because you're so in your own head, and it's hard to interpret what's being told to you through the middleman of how you're interpreting someone else's words and how they're expressing themselves through words. So face-to-face is important, is what I was saying. And Boudreaux, would you mind giving me your impressions of the talk that we had yesterday, and then maybe why in general it's good to have, like, as you had mentioned a couple of podcasts ago, a chance to just say, hey, let's not do this over text. Let's find a good time to talk face-to-face and do it.
Yeah. I think maybe for the audience, we should point out you're using face-to-face somewhat figuratively. We did it over Zoom. We did it over Zoom.
Sure.
We weren't breaking protocol, everybody. No. We flew people from Canada and Kentucky and Tennessee. I thought it was fantastic, Ty. I really appreciated you putting that together. We got, I think the other thing that kind of helped, at least for those that were inclined, had a beverage or other whatever, but it kind of loosened you up a little bit. I think it makes it easier to kind of speak freely. It would be weird if I was drinking a beer at 11 o'clock on a
And it was
on a
Saturday
Sunday.
night.
Yeah, it
so
was Saturday night.
yeah, so you have it Saturday night, and it's just that frees you up a little bit. I noticed that kind of helps with our summits for people that are a little, too quiet. But no, it everyone was well. I mean, you're talking to SE people, so everyone's real polite. There obviously there's issues with Zoom and trying to take your turn and talking over people. You made the comparison that you had the super talkers, the real quiet people, and I guess the middle.
Yeah,
But
it's good to recognize who is in which box. I wish Zoom would let you organize like these are the people who like to dominate. These are the people who like you should let talk more because they'll say what they need to say and move on. Yeah, you're the good ones.
And I think we can all get better at that with some body language. Maybe Ty could even teach us a little sign to where maybe just a signal that you're going a little too long. Or like yeah. Yeah,
I like that too. Yeah, that's a little bit extreme, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, you
this
get
is
like
very good, Larry.
That means stretch it out, though.
Yeah, that's the opposite of what you want.
Yeah.
But like long would be this, like keep going, yeah, or wait would be kind of good, or like that's a little bit too much, Fanny. Walk it back.
We do have the.
It's really interesting to, and I think a lot of religious people should see, conversations like that where atheists actually have a disagreement on something, and
that's really great. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Talk it out. And so, because when I was religious, it was an us and them kind of thing. Like they agree on everything, we agree on everything, and it's war.
Yeah.
So
you bring up a great point.
Matured.
And Dred, I want your feedback on this. I've seen so many Christian versus atheist debates, but I've never seen a Christian on Christian debate. And I would love to see an atheist on atheist debate because these groups don't agree with each other. And it'd be nice to see that kind of nuance. What do you think?
An atheist on atheist debate. So what would they be debating?
Consciousness, free will, anything like that. Just like, hey, what's morality? Like, gets two atheists in a room.
Atheists that fall on both sides of the political house. So,
we were going to have Tom Sheedy on the show. He's from Atheists for Liberty. I met him at CPAC. He's a conservative atheist, and he has beliefs that aren't what you would put in the stereotypical atheist house. And it would be nice to show, like, hey, if you can have these two guys talk to each other, see that they disagree on everything except for does a God exist, which they're like, no, of course not. Well, we don't believe that. We don't believe that. That's the position. Perfect. It's like you can see, like, hey, atheism is just a position on just one question, and it has nothing to do with any other aspect of your personality.
There's some evolutionary Christians that that debate young Earth creationists.
Oh, I'd love to see that. Yeah. All right. So, guys, I really love this. I love this. This is great. This is like my weekly church session, but we are getting close to the end of it. So, Dred,
yes,
what do you got? How can we find you?
Well,
and you got some drawings.
I wanted to show you this, and tell me if you know what that is.
It is a, it's inverse. What do you call it? Graph?
Mirrored. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's in the negative.
It's something going down. It's something going up, and then something going down. It's my stock. It's my 401k since COVID.
It's a giraffe. It's a giraffe.
It's a graph.
It's a giraffe.
Giraffe.
A giraffe.
I don't get Canadian humor. I don't get it.
So you can find me on YouTube at Mind Pirate. I do post these shows. So find me on YouTube at Mind Pirate, P-Y-R-A-T-E.
Nice.
Good.
Nice. Boudreaux, what is the status of this hidden podcast that you still are editing and refining and tooling and all this stuff? What's going on here?
I will say that the one thing we are considering is we want to put 5 together and then push them out all at the same time.
Oh, Netflix style.
To kind of, we want to, when people log in, we want to give them some content so they don't get one and then have to wait a week. Just something. Maybe we're saying that because we're procrastinating. I will say, Chad the Impaler, it's his birthday today.
Happy birthday, Chad!
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday, Chad!
Hopefully he'll watch this one. But he's kind of started a venture of buying investment property and trying to flip. So he just got super busy all of a sudden. But I told him I'm going to hold him to what we're going to do, and we're going to get 4 more recorded, and then we're just going to launch them. And
have you guys decided on a name yet?
we haven't.
Bourbon Street. Bourbon Street.
Yeah. Bourbon Street. No, I think we have. Yeah, it's right there.
So good.
Yeah.
There.
Is it there? Okay.
Well, that way.
But anyway, yeah. So yeah.
Speaking of new podcasts, Joey, what do you got?
Well, we're kind of in the making as well.
Joey, I have a challenge for you. Not to step on your toes, but it would be great to just see you talk in front of a camera about like your ideas, because you have a manner of thinking that is faster than I'm able to form questions for, and it would just be nice to see where you start and where you land.
I've been diagnosed with ADHD, so I apologize if you have trouble keeping up with me.
No, you already went faster than me, and that's not what I was referring to. I just meant you have a very creative thought process that if you documented it would be really interesting to listen to.
Oh.
And it might even change your own mind as you express it and hear the words coming out of your mouth and be like, actually, so here's where I started. By the time I'm done, this is where I'm at. Cool. And I feel like I've made that thought clear. Have you ever just tried that?
My content, you can, there's no content yet on the channel. I hope when things slowly open back up, I can get my music and comedy on one channel. You just find me at JW Kennedy at YouTube.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to be doing street epistemology, very similar to Tyrone's Ty setup, Wombat's setup. His channel, Let's Chat. Mine's going to be called Speak Your Beautiful Mind. And I have a podcast in the working, but it's still under construction. Stay tuned.
Nice.
We're going to do one together, right, Joey?
That'd be
we're going to try that?
Yeah. We can, let's talk after the show.
Yeah. Something we're toying around.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me. I'm Let's Chat on YouTube. Just type Let's Chat. It'll be the first thing you pop up now. I've tested this. It works. It's pretty cool. So
did you try it in private browsing?
I've tried it I've tried it on work computers. I've tried it like on other people's phones. I'm just like, I just want to see the room real quick. Can I use your
super happy for you, Ty.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Though, it's not just Let's Chat. If you want to get in touch with us, check out r/street epistemology on Reddit, and you will have ability to see everyone's posts. There's more than just me who's posting SE videos, and you'll actually have the opportunity to have feedback with us. If you want to try to do SE and want to workshop better ideas or better questions, I think the process of trying to figure out how to talk to people about anything is worthwhile, and definitely go for it. Doubter 5, what do you got?
Well, I have a YouTube channel. I hardly ever mention it. It's Larry S. Rhodes or Doubter 5. I've got a lot of videos on there that I experimented with some animation, but they're all pretty much atheist centered. There's one series called Atheism 101 that's about 6 or 7 years old now, but I think it has some valuable information. People who not really know much about atheism. Nice. If you come to our website, digitalfreethought.com, be sure to click on the blog button for our radio show archives, atheist songs, and many articles on the subject. I also have a book, digital. It's called Atheism, What's It All About?
What's it all about?
It's available on all major booksellers. If you have any questions for the show, you can send them to askanatheist@knoxvilleatheist.org, or go to our Facebook page, which is Digital Freethought Radio Hour. Leave a comment there. If you'd like to listen to prior shows, they're available on podcasts like iTunes, Stitcher, Luminary, podcast.com, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
Just remember Digital Freethought Radio Hour. And as a reminder, everybody is going to somebody else's hell. The time to worry about it is when they prove that heavens and hells and souls and sins are real. Until then, don't sweat it. Enjoy your life. And we'll see you next week, next Wednesday night at 7 o'clock on WOZO Radio, 103.9 LPFM, right here in Knoxville, Tennessee. Say bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Rational.
Cool. That's the show.
That's it. Good.